All right, guys, let's do this. Welcome to uCast Talks. This is a podcast where we explore the latest trends in the streaming industry. More specifically, the OTT. The OTT streaming is very, very interesting for us, and I guess for you too. So today we have a topic, and this topic is Netflix. More specifically, we're going to talk about Netflix integration for operators, for OTT operators. Well, Netflix needs no introduction, I would say. They are the leader in open internet video streaming. They have lots of content, blockbuster movies, into very popular series, and they also have their own original content on their platform. But on the other hand, for the operators, this is, I think, the interesting avenue to explore. Basically, they explore the possibility of integrating this popular platform on the OTT service. And of course, this is not as simple as adding another app on a device. It needs to be seamlessly done so that the OTT subscriber really gets the full benefit of this platform and the operator service as well. So to explore this, to discuss this, I decided to invite an interesting person to this podcast where we will discuss this. So I decided to invite Marko Hiti, Chief Marketing Officer at UniqCast. Marko, welcome to the show.
Hi, Matthias. I'm glad that I'm here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, great. So as we said, this is not as easy as adding an app to a client device. So we're going to discuss this, I guess. I'm very excited to have you on the show to discuss all the methods, certification, at the end, what are the benefits of adding a service like this on your platform. Before we dive into this, guys, don't forget to leave us a response, like the video, subscribe to our channel. This is the best way to be notified whenever we upload a new episode. Okay, with that under the way, I think we can start. Marko, let's start with fairly general question, but I think very important as well. So the question would be why, basically, why would an operator want to add a Netflix or some web streaming service on their existing OTT platform?
I think this is a good start. So let's answer this. Definitely Netflix is the #1 brand globally for OTT streaming with their original content, also other content. So definitely the end users watch Netflix quite often. So it's natural that they want to have this service in their living room. On the other hand, operators, when they launch Android TV service, they go in this project because they want to offer to their end users a lot of third-party applications, including OTT streaming applications. And Netflix, of course, is the most interesting OTT streaming app for the end user. So this is why operators would like to offer this, because it's not out of the box. So when you have a Android TV operator tier set-top box, then you need to do some additional steps to get Netflix on the platform. And when operator adds the Netflix to their service, in this way they become more competitive, they can decrease churn, they might have some options to bundle their service with Netflix. So things like that then come into play.
Excellent. Yeah, makes a lot of sense, I would say. Maybe for the more practical observers or viewers of this channel, Can you share some examples, let's say practical examples, how the operators are practically using Netflix to enhance their offerings?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it can be, let's say, the basic one that they just offer Netflix app on their Android TV set-top boxes, so without any bundling or anything like that. So they just offer this, and users will need to sign in independently to Netflix and then use it on their device. But then you have also some other options where they can provide single sign-on, single sign-in, or combine this with some subscriptions, maybe get some discounts. So there are also other more integrated options.
Excellent. Okay. So there are some examples. We will delve into this later on because I have some questions related to your experience with those integrations. So I guess there is more information there, I hope. This is what I'm hoping to dive in. But before we go into those really practical examples, it is, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's not as easy, or we wouldn't be talking about it if it would be just adding and installing an application on a client device, right? So that's the challenge, which has this benefit on the other end, which we just discussed. So can you share with our viewers what are these main integration methods? What are the processes? How do we get Netflix on the platform for the OTT? We're not talking about consumers, right? For them, it's quite relatively straightforward. We're talking about OTT operators. What are these methods? How can we get Netflix service on OTT's platform?
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is that with Android TV set-top box, Netflix does not come by default. So on the consumer-grade Android TV set-top boxes, Netflix might be there, and you also have it on the Android smart TVs. But when operators launch the Android TV operator tier set-top box, it gets access to Google Play, and users can install different apps. But Netflix requires additional certification to get approval from them, and only after that operators are able to offer Netflix. So in order to get Netflix, you need to certify with Netflix, and there you have two different programs like Netflix Self-Serve or Netflix Hailstorm program, under which you are able to get Netflix on operator set-top box.
Excellent. So basically, there are two paths, two ways to walk to get to the desired result. Okay, and so you mentioned these methods, but you didn't really mention what are some of the important steps. There are probably some challenges on the way. So can you picture this? Can you show us what are these first steps that an operator should take to get Netflix?
Yeah, so of course. I mean, eventually each operator has also option to go directly to Netflix and try to negotiate some business models, try to do some special integrations, but maybe really big operators can do something like that. But for majority of the others, there are these two programs, Hailstorm and Netflix Self-Serve, which are designed in a way to simplify process for operators. Now, Hailstorm gives you more flexibility or additional options, but it's also meant for larger operators, and it's harder to get approval for this type of integration, while Netflix Self-Serve is meant for mid-size operators, where it's a bit easier get approval, but you also get less options. So in Netflix self-serve, Netflix will be just an app installed on operator set-top box. User can open it and use Netflix or watch Netflix content, but there are no additional, let's say, options available. On Netflix Hailstorm, on the other hand, for example, you can do deep link of some Netflix content inside the launcher of the operator.
Excellent. Okay. And now I want to touch on the partnerships, right? Because this is a fairly complex process, right? So on the one hand, we have the operator that wants to do this, on the other, and then we have, of course, on the other side, Netflix that offers this service. But it's typically these integrations are not done just by operators themselves. So what are those typical partners that one should look for when they go on this journey, and what kind of qualities should they possess to really make this a success at the end?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you always need a set-top box vendor as a partner, so you need to choose the platform where this will run, and you need also a platform vendor, so OTT platform partner that will help you with the launcher app itself and make Netflix app visible inside it in a proper way. So these are two main, let's say, partners that each operator will need. Now, if operator already has the Android TV operator tier launcher, then it requires only this integration part or certification part with Netflix. If they don't have anything, then they need to start from scratch. So they need to get launcher that will first be certified with Google for Android TV operator tier, and then after that they can initiate certification with Netflix to get the Netflix app inside their offering. There are always set-top box vendor and platform vendor that are important here, and Netflix is already pre-certified with several different set-top box vendors for self-serve and for Hailstorm, and similar also for the platform vendors.
Great. Okay. And now a little bit more, maybe a personal, professional question, as I would call it, because I would really like to get this first-hand experience information from you. So you worked on similar projects, I know, but more importantly, you can tell us. So I think you worked on similar projects where UniqCast has integrated Netflix on someone's OTT platform, and you are practically working on these. And so, can you share some information about this? Do you have maybe some interesting anecdote, maybe some advice that you can give us that you learned during doing these projects?
Well, yeah, I think it's important that operator choose STB vendor and platform vendor that already did this. I mean, if they want to save time. So for sure, the set-top box vendor needs to be part of these programs. And if both set-top box vendor and platform vendor already work together and they already did some similar certifications, then everything will be faster and simpler. Otherwise, operator and also technology partners will need to learn on the way. So there are some, tricks or tiny details that you need to know in order to pass the certification. So if not, then you will need to repeat it or correct applications, which will consume time. There are a lot of small things like how to use the Netflix brand, on which screens, in what order Netflix app needs to be shown, what other options you are allowed to do. So stuff like that. So my advice would be, if operator wants to save time and effort required for something like that, it's better to go with somebody who already did this in the past.
Yeah, like exactly, right? It's not, maybe things are not hard, but knowing where to turn to, which piece of information to pick out of all information that's uh, piled around this wood is an important speed.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And choosing the partners who already did this also helps in, let's say, this communication with Netflix, and the whole certification process will be then
Yeah.
faster, also because of quicker communication and getting correct instructions and so on.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. I have one more question for you, as it is almost a rule now for a few podcasts that we already done. We always ask about the future at the end. So, of course, the natural question would be, what is the future of this kind of marriage between OTT service and Netflix? So we're looking for potentials, right? What can this bring to an OTT operator in the future? What do you think? It's an open question, of course.
Well, I think there are a lot of options that are not used maybe today. So Netflix is still very strict with these certifications and not allowing a lot of modifications to this. So if I look for end users, the user experience could be even better, offering some additional deep link integrations, having more content inside the operator, then additional flexibility in bundling the services, stuff like that. So this would go in benefit of the end user. So at the moment, Netflix is very strict on this, and you don't have a lot of such options. So now in the future, this might change if there will be some additional competition, maybe from some other OTT services, or if Netflix will see that this goes in their benefit as well. So this is one way how the things could change in the future. The other important trend that I see, operators more and more are looking to become a content hub. So to offer inside their service, to offer streaming services from other third-party applications. So not necessarily just Netflix, also some other global applications like Prime or HBO and stuff like that, but also many local ones. So we work globally with large telecom operators, and they are all now deploying or exploring options to partner also with the local or regional OTT streaming services, which are interesting and popular in that regions. And they would like to combine all this third-party content inside their service. So this is one trend that we also see. So I believe in the future it will not be only about the Netflix, but also about other streaming apps that will become available on the operator services.
Okay, great. So very positive ending. We expect even more players to join in this in this popular business, and even more choice for the operators, guys. Listen to that. So why not start with Netflix today, and maybe with the other players who will join after it? So it's a great idea that Marko shared here with us. Great. Well, this wraps up the episode of uCast Talks. First, a big thank you, Marko, for joining us today. Valuable insights, and I'm sure our viewers will find them useful as well. And it's been a pleasure for having you on the podcast.
Thank you. It was my pleasure as well.
Great. Before we conclude, I have one important piece of information. In the past few weeks, we published a few articles on our website. So we published a white paper that specifically talks about how it's a guide how to integrate Netflix for OTT operators. So be sure to check that out. And we also published 2 blog posts, which are shorter pieces, but they do talk about the same topic. So if you're interested, maybe read the blogs first and then see if this is the material. The white paper is just an extended, more deep version of those blogs. And of course, again, if you are watching this, if you're still watching this, means you're interested, feel free to give us a response. Post a comment in the video below, below the video, so that we know if you have maybe some questions. You can maybe just share what are your experiences with integrating Netflix on your OTT platform if you have done that. So we would love to hear that. And at the end, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel so that you will be notified whenever we upload a new podcast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on uCast Talks. Bye-bye.